Barcelona have a midfield that's stacked with quality options left and right. All of their midfielders, Gundogan, Xavi, Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, Romeu, Fermin Lopez, they all have different profiles, which makes it really interesting to see what the actual best midfield composition is. In this video, we'll talk about the very best midfield that Xavi can pick from this huge number of options, so make sure to stay tuned. At the start of the season, it seemed like Oriol Romeu would go on to become Barcelona's main defensive midfielder for the season. That was also the case for the first couple of games, and he played really well, but against the bigger teams under pressure at the very highest pace, we've seen that he might not be the ideal player for Barcelona. He lacks the positional awareness to really know what's going on around him, and that makes him lose possession too often. It also means that he often doesn't have the vision to really pick out the best possible pass. He can be a good defensive midfielder, and against teams like Cadiz or Rayo Vallecano, where Barcelona will just dominate the ball, you can play with him in defensive midfield. But against better teams that play at a higher pace, his weaknesses will just be exposed, and it's not safe to play him. Johan Cruyff once said that everyone can play football if they get enough time to handle, and that you have to make sure that bad players actually play bad by not giving them the time that they need. That perfectly sums up Oriol Romeu. He's a decent player, but against the very best at the highest pace, he needs too much time to read the game, and that leads him to commit certain mistakes that Barcelona's defensive midfielder shouldn't be making. So what do you do with your midfield then? Well, apart from Oriol Romeu, Barcelona don't really have another out-and-out defensive midfielder, and that's why, especially against the big teams, I would play with a double pivot. Against smaller teams like Getafe, it's a different story. There you can play with the likes of Romeu, but it's the midfield for the big games that we really want to address here. A double pivot. That gives you more control over the deeper parts of midfield, and it makes sure you don't have a lone pivot in there when Barcelona lose the ball. It's just a safer option defensively. But Barcelona also have the perfect set of players for it to actually work. In a double pivot, you want one player to be the real deep creator who controls the pace of the game, who can slow down the play when necessary, but also make any forwards pass to speed up the play, while the other player needs to be good at recovering the ball and just needs to be able to be everywhere and win back balls like N'Golo Kanté used to do for France and Chelsea. These two players both have to be able to be press resistant and to maintain possession for Barcelona, they both need to have the technical ability to make the ball circulate quickly, and they both need to be able to read the game and make the right decisions. Ideally, these two players are Xavi and Frenkie de Jong if you ask me. Xavi is arguably the best midfielder Barcelona have ever had when it comes to recovering the ball and being everywhere. Up till now this season, he's averaging 0.7 interceptions and 3.2 tackles per game. That's more than Casemiro himself at Man United, who's averaging 0.6 interceptions and 2.6 tackles per game. He's better at recovering balls than the one player who's notorious for doing it. With him, you've got a player who will win back possession for you and who can protect you from counterattacks. Against Real Madrid, he completely dominated the midfield and Real Madrid had a real hard time getting the likes of Kroos and Bellingham to really be at their best. It was when Xavi brought in Oriol Romeu that Xavi played a little higher and that Real Madrid got more space in midfield. Barcelona have control over the midfield when Xavi plays there. In possession, he's got the game reading and decision making to make the right passes and to control the game for Barcelona. He's that press resistant that he will rarely ever lose possession as well. So overall, he's the perfect player to have in that double pivot. One thing that he could become better at are his long range passes and their accuracy. It's not like he doesn't see the space when it's there, but sometimes he just doesn't make that pass or it's not accurate enough. That means that the other pivots should be great at playing long range passes, as they allow you to really exploit the space and create goal scoring opportunities. Frenkie de Jong is arguably Barcelona's best long-range passer, so this role is perfect for him. He's great at reading the game, making the right decisions, dribbling out under pressure, and creating the play from deep in midfield. The reason why he can't be the lone pivot is that he'll drift away from that position too often when he's creating the play, and that leaves too much space in midfield and really makes you vulnerable to counterattacks. That's why you want to play him in a double pivot. With Xavi next to him, he has a player who can make sure that space is covered when Frenkie de Jong leaves his position in order to create the play. That is why Xavi and Frenkie de Jong can be the perfect double pivots. Question is, who is your third midfielder and what are his actual duties? Well, the third midfielder has more of an attacking role. You want him to be the main creator in attack, to link up with the attackers, to establish a dynamic attack by changing positions with the likes of Joao Felix and Lewandowski at moments, and also to try to recover balls high up the pitch. In other words, you need this player to have great chemistry with the attackers, to have intelligent positioning, and to have a creative mind. Pedri would be the main option there when he's fit, as he has all of these qualities. So ideally, Barcelona can actually play with a midfield three of Frenkie de Jong, Xavi and Pedri this way. But what if they're injured or need some rest? Well, Gundogan can play in the role that Frenkie de Jong plays in, as he also has that ability to dictate the pace of the game, to be the deep creator and to play those long range passes. Oriol Romeu can actually play in Xavi's role as well, And that's what I do against the smaller teams to also give Gavi some rests. To rest Pedri, which of course needs to happen, Fermin Lopez would be the perfect player in that attacking role. It might even suit him better than Pedri, as he's better at showing up in the box and finishing crosses and at shooting from distance. Lastly, even Rafinha could play in that attacking midfielder role, and it's where I would play Rafinha if Lamine Yamal is on the pitch as well. Rafinha has the creativity, the shooting and the chemistry with the others to really come to fruition in that role, so he's definitely an interesting option as well. Overall, this midfield is stacked with quality, and with a double pivot combined with an attacking creator, I think Xavi gets the real potential out of it. That was it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Força Barça, and have a good day.